now inside Unreal, you need to create an empty project and then go to plugins and then enable the water plugin. All right. So the reason why we need this it's just because we're gonna be using the water billboard texture, and that's it. We will not be really using the water as it is. And then you need to restart Unreal. Next, what we need to do is we need to import the Houdini digital asset that we just made. Now drag this inside your level. Make sure you set its position to be 0. And then here we're gonna create an actor. We're gonna call it spline input. Okay, and we're gonna add a billboard. Make sure to set it as the root of our blueprint actor, and then we're gonna give it texture of water. Let's look at this water body river sprite. All right. So this is why I said we need to enable the plugin, the water plugin. So we just have access to these textures. That's it. And then I'm gonna add spline like this. And yeah, that's it. Now all we need to do is just draw some curve. Okay, I'm gonna just place it like this. Make sure to rotate it in the right direction, something like that. I will adjust some of these some of the spline default parameters, like the color, and there is the visualization scale, which I want to be something maybe 200. Okay, I will adjust this later on, but for now this should be fine. So now we can set our viewport to be top view, right? And then just place our curve, right? Just gonna start with a small number of points, okay, just to get something in place. Okay, that makes sense. Let's just make sure it sits above the landscape. And from now, from here we can just adjust the location of these different points like this. All right. Something like that. Next, we can go to our river digital asset and look for curve input and say choose something from the word outliner. Okay, as you can see here, it's drawing the default river. All right, that's totally fine, but we wanted to use this one. Okay, so let's just say start selection and select the spline input. And as you can see, this is what we get. You can always like maybe just the starting point of the river. Oops, not like this. Maybe Gonna place it something like that. Let's see. As you can see, like, you can do this kind of stuff very easily, right? You just have very low resolution spline, you just move your points and the tool will figure out everything. Maybe not that much. Let's see. I'm gonna delete the last point. Just use this so it goes like that. Right? And this one I'm gonna just make it wider like this. And just push it a bit here. And let's try to avoid this little mountain here, okay? Yeah, this is what I want. You can like always move a little bit further away from this area and you get this. It's quite cool. Okay, I'm just gonna move this and say visible in game, not actor shouldn't be heading game, so I'm gonna say visible, yes, okay. So as you can see, we're getting the results we are expecting, right? Let's try now to adjust the width on the spline and see if that's working. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab the width here and just try to adjust it like this and just move this a bit so it updates. Alright, that sounds like it's not working. It could be I'm using the wrong component from the scaling vector. So to fix that, we can easily say open scene in Houdini. Alright, so let's just wait for that to open. So here I'm gonna look for river tutorial, hit enter and then select the river tutorial here and say allow editing of content. Alright, now our input here, we should see some scaling parameter, and yes, I guess, yes, we should be using the third component for that horizontal scale. So let's do that. Alright, I'm just gonna close this. Alright, and just go to my original project here, and under the width calculation VAP, we are using the second component while we should be using the third one. Okay, adjust that, save your digital asset, then go back to Unreal, hit re-import, and then say rebuild all instances. And as you can see, problem is solved, I guess. But maybe that's too much. The scaling is here a bit too much. Let me just make sure to adjust it like this. Alright. Yeah, when the scaling is way too much, it just goes crazy. We might want to debug that later, but for now, I'll just try to keep it simple like this. Yeah, okay, this is fine. Just right here, I'm gonna add another point. I'm gonna adjust the orientation a little bit. Increase maybe the scale. Here, I'm just gonna add the point to just increase the scale. Okay. Maybe not too much. One of the issues why we're getting, the main issue why we're getting this, it could be because of the very high resolution on the curve, alright? So you can always like adjust that later, play with that, and you can even like open the scene in Houdini, see what's really going on, adjust things, so it looks as you expect, right? Right, let's see. You can always like make sure you don't have this kind of turns like this. Maybe you want it to be much smoother. See, like this. Like one wise rule to use here while scaling your river, whenever essentially it's almost flat and there isn't a lot of variations when it comes to the slope, you can always like add a point and just increase the scale, right? It will just should be fine. See, again, try see how much we can go with this. All right. And as you can see, like in areas where there is canyons, the river width is much smaller, but you can always like add some points and edit that, right? You can make the width quite higher here, as you can see. Just might go a little bit crazy, like you see here. So you can just maybe rotate it like this, maybe in that direction, scale it down and move it a little bit like that. Let's see. I'm gonna try to move it like this. Okay, I guess this is much better, maybe not. Too much water cascades. I just set it here. I'm gonna add another point here just so I can push this. Something like that. Alright. Gonna just rotate this like that. Rotate this like this. Maybe this might be a better idea. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave it like this. This is much better. Also keep in mind you can always play with the exposed parameters, like the number of iterations. You can set this to be half, for example, and you can see difference. As you can see, it's sliding much less on the terrain. Okay, so this is like 64. Like this, and then 32, it slides much less. Okay, so maybe 32. We'll leave it at 32, or maybe let's say 42. All right. The slow descent, maybe if we set it to 0, let's see the difference. Yeah, as you can see, it does have significant effect here. Maybe we're gonna set 0.5. I want it to be really low. I'm not gonna play with this, with the cascade parameters, because I like this result as it is. Alright, this is fine. So these ones, slope width, canyon width, let's see. Maybe not, I don't know. So let's try the scale amplitude, right? Just set it to 1. We'll have much less noise, as you can see. Right, that will help. I guess like this is 0. Oops, I'm gonna say this is amplitude 0, 0, 5, 1, 1.5, and 1, 5. Okay. So let's we can always adjust this starting point and make it from here, for example. Move this up. We can, if you want, adjust the width. I guess we forgot to expose the ramp parameter, right? This one. If you go to the water surface, you see this ramp parameter. We forgot to expose this one. To link the ramp parameter that we got here, all we have to do is just go to the parameters. Keep in mind we want to link the two nodes with the same parameter, so I'm just gonna select my water surface, select the scale ramp and just drag it here. And as you can see, it says it is linked with the water surface and then scale ramp. Right? So I'm just going to copy all of this and then go at the very end, hit space, paste it, and then just replace water surface with projection geo, essentially the name of the second node. Hit apply, hit accept, and as you can see now both are linked with the ramp parameter. Now what we have to do, again, just say save asset and make sure of course to save the project. Now inside Unreal, what we gonna do the same thing, say re-import and then rebuild. Now we should have our ramp parameter, as you can see. Looks a bit weird like this. Let's just try to add a key here. So I'm gonna say, for example, it is at 1x right. Then you can play with this like that. As you can see, we have width here. You can like just try to create some interesting curve points here. I'm gonna say auto. I'm gonna select all the curve points actually here and then just set it to auto, including the first point too. Just maybe set this higher. I want the very last point to have much higher width, like this. Let's see. Set it to auto. Now aside from this weird area here, I think everything else looks right. So to fix that, maybe I'll just slightly reduce the width here. Just slightly rotate this like that. Sounds like still the same issue. Now it looks slightly better. If you just move this like that. Doesn't look like it's helping. Okay, I guess this should be fine. As I said, like you can always go back and play with the curve resolution and yeah, do whatever changes you find helpful. Okay, let's look. I guess the width here is way too small, so I'm just gonna kind of increase it. slightly rotate this, but not too much. And I'm gonna just slightly adjust the noise, just leave it at 1, and then always increase the width here. All right. Okay, this now looks quite interesting. I will just maybe increase the width here, and especially in this area. Right. Okay. Let's set this to full screen mode to see what we got. All right. Looks fine. Maybe the noise thing here at the edge is a little bit crazy, but once we apply the material, I guess it won't be visible. All right. You can also adjust the depth, like you can set it to 8.5, maybe 1.25. Oops, I meant like 1.25. Right, maybe this is much better. Let's see how it looks in this area. Yeah, okay. Curve smooth position, if we set this to 50, do we see any change? I don't know. I see here, but is it useful? Not sure. Yeah, no. So the threshold, there is the slow descent and the height trigger. So if we increase the height trigger, as you can see, this is maybe too much. 0.3. Alright, maybe 0.3 is better. Let's see how it looks with in this area with high slope. So this is 0.3, this is 0.2. Alright, yeah, I mean, yeah, just this really looks a bit weird. Like, as you can see, doesn't make much sense. Maybe 0.275, 0.25. We can also try to just make this, adjust this entirely. Okay. Or maybe just move this here. Okay. Maybe this is better. Yeah. Yeah, this should be much better. And now if I try to set the height trigger now much higher, and maybe 0.3, yeah, and this should be fine. Now the max generate, we can say 2 or maybe 3. Right, let's see how it affects this area. I don't think it will be affecting this area way too much. Guess just this area. So all we have to do just set our camera here and adjust this parameter and think if what's best for us here. So longer, essentially it's like you're choosing between bigger water cascades or just many small water cascades, right? Well, it's really it could be game design choice here really. If it doesn't matter, I guess maybe something like this is fine. Okay, now the canyon width, oh, to be honest, I like it as it is. I don't want to do anything to that. The water surface width, it's good that we have the water surface width and the geo width separate, right? So yeah, it can be useful. Okay, the depth one. Yeah, I don't think I need to do any adjustment to this. That looks fine. And yeah, the mountain noise. Let's see this one. So mountain noise 1. As you can see, when you set it at 1, it just goes crazy. Maybe 0.1 should be the way to go. 0.025, maybe 0.2, 0.15. Alright, also keep in mind, like our terrain resolution is quite low already, so but probably in open world games you would have a resolution like this.